Hello YouTube, it is Damien, it is the Rise of a Nation, it is episode 136. Today we have the end of season review for season 14, a season where we went back to normal ways and did the double, but also a season where it was agonisingly annoying, is the words I'm going to use, yet again as we got knocked out in the first knockout round of the Champions League for the millionth time. On reflection, it's been a few days. I'm actually not live yet on stream. We'll be live a little bit later. You guys won't see this episode till, today's the 13th, which is a Sunday. You won't see it to the public holiday Monday, more than likely. So links down below, and hopefully by the time you guys do see this episode, it'll probably be in either the Champions League group stage or hopefully played past that and in the knockout rounds again. So I will recommend the links down below. Secondly, the Euros have started. Podcast is out and about. Obviously did our preview for the podcast. My prediction of Italy finishing second in the group and making the final has gone horribly wrong. For those that do know, I think that finishing second in Group A gives you an easier passage because you avoid probably finishing against the top of the table France on your side of the draw and probably whoever finished third in Group F. But in saying that, it all depends on the goal difference and everything like that. That's not what you're here for, but I thought I'll get those plugs out of the way early. You're here to just talk SFB and what's happened this season. Obviously, these end of season reviews can be quite trivial, and also, unlike last year, this year we don't really have too much business to really speak about. Last year we were talking about who we're going to sell. We made a sale of Penner, or basically the sale of Penner in the episode. We basically signed a Vando in the episode as well. But this time around, I've got one in that I'm talking about because it was just too good to not bring in. And there's not really too many sales to talk about. The only problem we have, and I'll show you in here, is that we've probably got too many people in the squad. That's also not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing, and it'll be interesting to see what we can do. We'll go through the end of season review stuff first. Obviously, we'll recap how well we did. All I'm going to say is that Mikel Wirtz, back into the season, unreal. Our signing of the season, according to the game, was Ren Sheng. I do agree with that. He's actually grown into a pretty leading star centre-back. If he can get that headering up to 15, which he doesn't like working on it, he's physically absolutely amazing at 6'2" as well. I do think there's an absolutely outstanding player in him, and I think Arsenal made a massive mistake to let him go. If I couldn't get Sander Bloom in this season, I was actually really happy to go Ren Sheng and Alguildo together. And I think our big problem is probably going to be keeping the likes of Alguildo and co for another season where we have not gone and made the quarterfinal of the Champions League. But we'll wait and see how that plays out. Obviously, we then signed Hannibal, and you can tell from his, 11 starts and 9 off the bench, which is 20 games total, 7 goals, 6 assists in the middle of the park. He's had a really good year back into the year. I'm really excited to see what he can do next season. And he's also played box-to-box midfield and actually looked pretty decent. Apart from the tackling, he actually plays it quite well. Physically, absolutely amazing. That natural fitness means that this guy's probably never going to get to the likes of 10 pace. So he's going to be very usable, and hopefully we have him until he retires. A lot of people learning stuff of him, and I love him. And obviously, Sam Hillian, for me, has been quite the pickup. Signed him a new contract, squad player, probably keep him here until he's probably not usable and we sell him on. He's probably a bit old. But for me, this is a guy that we brought in for the Champions League. And give us performances at the back of the Champions League. I feel like he did that. He never did anything wrong. Like even the tie against Barcelona, if it wasn't for the red card, you do think we win that tie. And even then, if it wasn't for the flop of the season, which wherever Vando is, here he is. Yeah, he had a good time in the league, but we paid money for you to go and score in big games in the Champions League. I gave him in one season. I said I would. We're going to hopefully try ship him out for about 6 million or so, save the wage. He's one of the players that I hopefully will make way. He's not going to be happy to go, but I don't care. We brought him in for one thing. He didn't do it. If you say he went in and we got knocked out by Barca, but he scored 6 or 7 goals throughout the group and whatever, I'll be like, you know what, we'll give him another go. The fact that he only scored 3 goals, and I think the ball against Mould, and he's missed a couple massive chances from 6 yards, kind of like what Penner did. We brought him in for the experience and the fact that he likes a big game. If he doesn't, I've signed strikers. We are going on. We've got some signings to talk about. Nello, obviously, for me, backup centre-back, been really good. And you know what? This is a different type of centre-back. He's just kind of your 6'5", 6'5" brute. Don't really have too much of it. He's also got some decent pace now because he's got the acceleration up to 15, pace up to 13. And I think he's been really good as well. Obviously, the transfer on the outs, there they are. Thomas played 3 times for City, and he's valued at 24 million and is currently wanted by PSG. We get, I think, 40% whatever he goes on for. So if PSG want to bid something big, that'd be great. For those that wonder, Penner played 40 times for Newcastle, averages 7, only scored 10 goals, which I think if you're bringing in a star striker, that's not bad. We also get 30% whatever he sells on for. It doesn't have any interest, but not bad as well. Ventru, but obviously probably in terms of goal to game was not too dissimilar, and Sobby did quite well. And I wish Sobby all the best. Hopefully continues to do what he does. And we're going to go into the season results. Obviously, we won the league. Did very, very well there. Mikel Wirtz scored the most goals in the comp. Mikel Wirtz, by the way, he had 2 games in a row. He scored 5 and 4. The guy just does not fucking miss. So we're playing 4-4-2 for the majority of next year. I think the 4-2-3-1 is just going to be the big game. We need to control this game sort of game where we don't want to really concede, and we may score. And then you can switch into the 4-4-2 and go, now Rocky. I really like that analogy that you're fighting right-handed and then the big Alf Southpaw comes out and hopefully knocks him out. And look, it nearly happened against Barca. If Vando scores, we look like a master. We look like we put on a tactical masterclass. Unfortunately, Vando doesn't score and finishes 0-0 and you're out of the Champions League. But yeah, did alright. Obviously in the Champions League, there you go. It wasn't for the red card of Jose. With the fact that we scored with 10 men, I really do think away from home against Barca in the 4-2-3-1, we had the quality to beat them. And then obviously the 0-0 in Barca, we had the injuries. We obviously had Jose missing, Winger missing, had to play Ismail, had to play Lars on the left. I probably should have gone with Wirtz off the bench instead of Campos. And yeah, it was one of those things as well. Inside back Pokelin, obviously we won it. We beat Midtjylland 5-1 in the final. Unlike last year, we lost the final. We did well there. Hannibal got goal of the year. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty good goal. You guys will know if I think it's an amazing goal. We see so many good long-range hits now that they're just kind of just morph into one. If there's ever a time where someone hits the scissor kick of a lifetime or, dirty chip from 35, 40 yards out, whatever, I'll show you that. But at the minute, all these goals have been free kicks or, hits from outside the box that are really decent. If we want to go have a look at it, we can. It should be a tab to go look at it, but I don't really care. And then, look, for me, this save's all about winning the Champions League, and I wish we could do it. How we lined up, they reckon that was our best lineup with 7 on the left. There's probably one problem is that we haven't had a left back that's come in and been like, yes, this is my spot. Like, even our Kotra coming in has not been really great. But they reckon that's our best team. I agree. Wirtz and Lance together. I do. Jefferson on the left, Joe's on the right. That's going to change. As well, and Orbrecht could find himself in a bit of an interesting situation if he ain't careful as well. Did have a good back end of the year. As you can see, a lot of club awards and everything like that. Oldest player was Luiz, he's now retired, obviously. And as you can see here, Danish goalkeeper of the year, all the sort of boys that you really want to see, which is good. And look, it was another good year of us doing what needs to be done. Mikel Kotra is one I will talk about quickly too. Just quietly, because the guy's got so many nines or whatever, he's actually developing into a pretty decent fullback. If we could get all these 9s and the 10s and then 11s, he would actually be a very well-rounded fullback with some good physicals. I've been working on his pace a lot. If he could continue, that would be great. We're just going to click through, see if there's anything crazily good. Club vision should be the same as everywhere, except the current vision. Work in the payroll, same as usual. Discuss the plans for next year. We're going to win the league. We're going to try and do well in the Champions League. And yeah, this is the reaction I'm after for. I'm also asking to aim to reach the later stage of the competition. We performed the participation in the Champions League, so also be aiming to reach the Champions Cup next round. We'll say that because it always keeps them happy, and I'll discuss problems for next season, and bang, done. Alright, standard usual. You guys see whatever goes on. We do have some friendlies already scheduled, which is weird. And yeah, should be all done and dusted on this front. Getting obviously some reports from around, and Gildo's been looking amazing. Clubs are sniffing around for him, and he has a release fee of 120 million. For a guy like this, he reminds me so much of Ortiz. It's 120 million, or you're not selling him. He also, by the way, is now looking like a really good box-to-box midfielder. Do prefer him back here, though. I think he's really good and plays, obviously, the 4-2-3-1 really well. All right, so into what the nitty-gritty is right here as well. I'm just going to actually show you what Wirtz kind of done. As you can see, a 5, a 4, and a 1. That's kind of how you win Golden Boot. And I don't know what it is about this kid, but he just fucking finishes. I say this every year. I see him bang him in. I go, I really should give this guy more game time in the Champions League and whatever. I always just use him as a super sub. This year, I swear I'm going to stick to it. Lars and Wirtz to win me a Champions League. It's going to happen. I hope, anyway. In terms of what's kind of going on here, we've got some people on the ins, as you can see. On the outs, Eugene Neff is officially leaving. It's a sad time. Obviously, Udinese avoided the drop. He's going to go. He actually played really well for Udinese too, which is really nice to see. look, been playing well for Australia. He wanted to leave. We get good money for it. I love him, and the Adelaide-born lad is going. Obviously, everyone else going too. But on the ends, we've actually got some people coming in. And look, we're gonna start with the ones that are important. You've seen Carlos, you've seen Musa, but I will just do that. The kid in the middle kind of gives me probably too much midfield depth, but look how good he looks on a free. It's ridiculous. Carlos is winger depth. I feel like we need a better left winger than Ismail, and there we go. But at the same time, I've made a signing on the right-hand side that is not particularly great. And for me, I'm going probably one centre-back too many, but I do think we're not going to get Sander Bloom. I keep preparing for life without Sander Bloom, and Man United keep saying yes. If this guy comes in and plays well and superbly well, we've got a Danish centre-back for many, many years, and Mikel Modegaard, it looks really good. But you're here for a couple of the big signings. So I'm going to go with Marco Luiz first. Wonder kid from Brazil, compensation 750k. There's a couple from Sempol that had compensation 750k, and I've taken two. Very all-rounder, 5'8". I look at him and I go, you know what? He could be a very good right back. I look at him and he could be a very good centre back if he grew. But also look at him and go, you know what? There's a box-to-box midfielder in him too if we develop him well enough. We're going to sign him and then he won't join until he does turn 18 because that's kind of what happens in Brazil. 50 determination, very good mentals, very good physicals, and have got well-rounded technicals. For me, those guys are worth their weight in gold. If you can find match time for them in Denmark, they will definitely grow. I'm kind of giving the squad that we got now maybe a year, 2 years to kind of go, here you go, that's your window. If it doesn't happen, Albrecht's going to get to 27, 28. Yeah, that's not too old. But, we might start getting bids of like 40, 50, 60 million. I go, you know what? We're not going to make much money in Denmark. If I start cashing in on the guys like Albrecht, Jefferson, who else is on the older side that's been playing for us for a while? Because they're all quite young. Ronald has not been playing us for a while, but you know what I mean. Edison Campos, all these guys have been here and around for a while. If the next 2-3 years it's not happened and we're not got past the first knockout stage again and again, I will probably be looking to sell these guys at a 25, 26. And that includes a couple of club legends, which does hurt me. But what it does mean is that instead of me not having them here, we're having him here, keeping him 30, 31, 32, where in Mess, I did that with like Todd and, I think Fabio Silva and whatever. Yeah, in Mess though, in France, you're making so much money from the league. Here, compared to the money that we need to survive as a club, if I don't sell him, we don't make money, and our balance goes from it's on 57 million at the moment, 77 million, we've got 51 million in the bank for the transfer budget. If I don't sell, our budget will go back down to 10 mil, because we only get 2 mil so many times throughout the year from the league. And then obviously Champions League money probably keeps you just afloat. We rely heavily on our balance being good on sales. So we're going to give this squad probably 2 years. But these sort of signings, 17-year-old in Marco Luiz is, he's going to come in, we're going to give him a handful of games, and then if it's not happening, we're going to have quite a young team, and we're just going to wait 3, 4, 5 years again. Hopefully they develop all into world-class keeper, and then we win again. And then we have a chance to win it again. I think we're in a window now where we can... Don't think we can say we can win it, but we've also got a team where it's like, it wouldn't surprise me that we knock off a big guy and we make a run out of it. Or if we get a good draw for once, we go and make a good run. Anyway, Nielsen, however, is my type of striker. This guy here, I hope he accepts our contract. 6'4". I haven't had a big boy yet on FM in this save yet, I don't think, but he's a big freaking boy. I love him to bits. I think he's fantastic. I am a big fan of big players. If you go back to my Sunderland save, FM19 days, you remember I used to go and just buy people that were tall. We had guys at the back that were 6'6", 6'4", not necessarily the best, but I was like, you know what? Freaking high. We also used to do that on FM18 with the Icelandic side that won me the Champions League. I was like, put him in a system where if they had the height, we swing balls into them, great. But also put him in a system where the centre backs are like Nello here, just big brutes that just defend. We become quite a team that I want to play. For me, Nelson's the sort of guy that can finish a chance, also 6'4", get his pace up, and he's sort of the guy that no one in world football wants to play. A guy that's got to be physically bigger and stronger and can head it on you. To be fair, he's only got 9 strength at 6'4", which is weird. But a guy that's going to be able to out-jump you and header and score and obviously can finish with his feet. This is the sort of guy you want in your club. So Nelson's coming in. But the big one that we made is Nildo. And when you have a 91 scout rating, you take him. This is a signing I didn't want to make. But you had Spurs, you had PSG interested. Came up that he was very interested in joining me because he wants to leave Club America. He's my best winger in the right-hand side, midfield right, and you can also say in midfield centre, he's probably my best centre mid, and if you put him in the middle of the park, he's probably my best midfielder. That's how good he is, this guy. As you can see, 22 assists in 45 games from America. It could be because his form's so good. He's yet to be capped by Brazil. I honestly think if we take him, he will be. He's a wonder kid. He's 20, yes. So he won't be homegrown, but this is the sort of guy you can bring in. And that's the kind of mantra we need to go with now. If there's a world-class player that is available, cheap enough, and we can pay for him, you get him in. We are probably very sentimental to Albrecht, and we're very sentimental to, Ronald, and we're very sentimental to probably the, Sander Bloom and a Gildo, and a Bad, saying that Bad's pretty world class, Bloom's world class, and Gildo's pretty close to being world class. But we're very sentimental to Lars and Wirtz, and I do want to give him a season. If there is guys that like this with the 91 scout rating that comes available, we have to take it. In the end, it is good money that we're joining him for. As you can see, it's 18 million plus some clauses to get it up to like 22. For a guy like that, that is unreal. He is probably more of a winger than anything. Yeah, his crossing isn't like the greatest, but he's got natural flair, natural pace, natural agility, good dribbling, good first touch. You get him out wide and he's going to whip balls in and beat people. I feel like Jose Ramirez lacks the ability out wide. Like, he's good, but he lacks the ability to kill a game. But what we also forget is Jose Ramirez is very, very good in the middle of the park. He was suspended for the last game, wasn't he? He's very good in the middle of the park. Like, you look at him and you go, there's a midfielder there. You are the definition of a very defensively minded the box midfielder, and in the big games, he could be the guy that in the middle of the park goes and wins you a game. He's also the sort of guy that, if there's an injury, he starts in any of the positions that he's kind of natural or accomplished in, and he's also the guy that, could you imagine him off the bench, the Brazilian international? I'm bringing in a Brazilian that's younger and hasn't played for Brazil, and I think is better. If you compare the pair, they are very similar, and one's 20 and the other one's 23. As you can see, Joe's a bit more defensive, a bit more mentally aware, which for me means he's a bit more of a box-to-box midfielder. And we kind of lacked that really out-and-out nippy winger that's going to beat a man. And you look at Nildo at 20, and he's only going to develop. He's got better vision, better attacking, he's got better technique. Nildo's also a bit more of your 10. If we played 4-2-3-1, you could probably remove Albrecht back in line and get Nildo in the hole. But you could also get Nildo in the middle and get Albrecht in the hole, which is probably the way I would go with it, with Jefferson and Jose on either side and Lars or Wirtz up top. But yeah, this guy gives me options and world-class options, and I can't wait to use him, and I think he's going to be fantastic. So for me, that's kind of really it with the scouting and everything like that. I'm very happy with the squad, and I really do think that there's guys here that can win me the Champions League, and I do think that we have a squad that could win the Champions League, but I also think it's getting to the stage now that if it doesn't happen in the next couple of years, we've got to start planning for the future, start selling on, and it could be another 5 to 10 year slog before we can win it as well. It's going to be that fine balance of what point do you abandon the Albrecht, Ronald sort of team, just built around them and Jose and all that, and sell them on for big profit, and then start rebuilding and biting in some young kids like we've started to do now? Or do we just go, fuck it, this is the team that's going to win it, give them 5-10 years, give them until they're 32, like we did with Toss and Todd and all that at Mess, and hope they win it like that? May also be very dependent on where the league ends up finishing. It's currently like 9th in the world, if you look at it. 8th in the world. If that gets up in the top 6, then obviously you get a bit more TV money, and it may be worth us just keeping hold. I don't know. It's got to be very interesting to see what happens here. My guess, we're in our window to win the Champions League. We've got probably a 3 to 5 year window where we could win it. It's now up to us to go do it. None of this first knockout round shit. It's time to put that to bed. It's time to go in, finish top of the group, knock whoever it is out of the first knockout round, get lucky with a draw one time and not get anyone hard. And then, you know what? Whatever happens in the quarterfinal, get our Rocky Balboas on, knock them the fuck out, get into the semi, don't lose, dig your heels in, and make a final. If we can do that, anything's possible. And look, I believe it can happen. And that's the biggest thing too. Do you believe? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what year you think we can win the Champions League, or do you think that this team is not good enough to win it and we're going to need to go reinvest, sell, and get better world-class players in, or players that have the potential like a Gildo that we brought in that will become world-class at a very young age. Anyway, from Damo and everybody else here, see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.